Spooky brothers and sisters, we are officially about 2 months down into the year, and we already have what I anticipate to be one of the better horror movies for the year 2025. It is your boy Tech. Come rock with me as we look into the new horror movie from this year, Companion. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I had to bust out the hoodie for this review because it's a little nip and we got a little snow action going on outside. So hey, if you live in an area where it's snowing right now and all this good stuff, then there really isn't too much better of a time to go ahead, bundle up, get your blankets, get your hoodies, all that good stuff, sit on the couch and throw on a good horror movie like this. The movie Companion is about a weekend getaway with friends at a remote cabin that turns into chaos after it's revealed that one of the guests is not what they seem. So this movie stars Sophie Thatcher as Iris, Jack Quaid as Josh, Lucas Gage as Patrick, Megan Siri as Kat, Harvey Gillen as Eli, and Rupert Friend as Sergey. Doing a quick non-spoiler review first. If you're a fan of movies like Ready or Not or Barbarian or Abigail or the radio silence type movies, or just movies that really excel at doing dark comedy, then this movie is pretty much your jam. It is almost perfect in that aspect. This movie is shot very well, it's acted very well, it had a solid plot, and even with the solid plot, it still had twists going on in it that just made the plot that much better. So overall, it's just generally a very good movie. Jack Quaid as Josh is just pure comedy in this movie. People may recognize him from The Boys or Scream or The Hunger Games. He's been in many different things, but specifically for this role, he absolutely crushes it, and it's almost in a way very perfect casting for that character, and honestly for a lot of the other characters as well. For what they were written to do, they pretty much all executed it at a very high level, or even, dare I say, an elite level at that. But yeah, just overall, like I said, it is a very excellent start to the beginning of this year. Now, I know a movie like Wolfman came out before this, but these two movies are not even in the same league. This movie Companion is in a completely different ballpark than Wolfman is. Wolfman is the minor leagues, if that, and then you have Companion that is for sure in the major leagues when it comes to our horror films. So for the people who have not watched it and don't want anything spoiled, I would recommend for you to go ahead and go watch this movie. I do put my stamp on this movie. I think it for sure is going to be one of the better horror movies of this year. So if you haven't seen it yet and don't want anything spoiled, like I mentioned, go ahead and go watch it and then come back to this review at this point, and then we'll get into more spoiler talk. So with that being said, as far as spoilers, going down the plot, so in the beginning of the movie, the introduction of Iris and Josh. And Iris and Josh are a couple, and they're going to join friends for a weekend at this remote lake house that is owned by Sergey, which is essentially like the rich guy, the billionaire guy. And he's just letting all these people party with him. So you fast forward a little further into the movie, Iris is sitting down by the lake, and she's, just sort of by herself, isolated, and here comes Sergey, and he already gives bigotry and, just misogynistic vibes. But anyway, so they have an encounter, and that pretty much leads to Sergey attempting to assault Iris, and Iris ends up killing him in self-defense. So Iris goes back up to the lake house and pretty much explains, what was going on, because, she just got blood all over her and everything, right? And so for me, this is where one of the big twists happened regarding the plot. It ends up being revealed more about Iris's nature and, who she actually is, or what she actually is. I don't watch trailers. Yeah, I might, read a movie description, but I don't really genuinely, for the most part, ever really know what a movie is going to be about going into it, other than maybe like a very, very rough general idea. So Josh ends up revealing to Iris that she is essentially a companion robot. So this whole time she's sitting there thinking that she's full blown a real person, and that she has real thoughts and feelings and memories, and like she can picture, things that have happened with her and Jack even before she was even programmed to even like Jack. I'm sorry, I keep saying Jack. I mean, like, Josh is his character in the movie. Jack Quaid is obviously the actor. But yeah, Josh ends up revealing to her that she is a companion robot. And so, for him, it's more so the pleasure aspect, and then just having somebody be there with him. But then in her aspect, she was thinking that she was a full-blown girlfriend. And like I said, she has all these memories of things that she's experienced with Josh that never actually happened. They were just in her programming. Iris ends up escaping because while Josh was explaining all of this stuff to her, that she's a robot and everything, she was tied up. He wanted to have her tied up, so while he explained this, she wouldn't make any irrational moves. But anyway, she ends up escaping. She ends up getting access to Josh's phone, and that's where she goes into the app and starts manipulating, some of her settings. The cool thing about this app, and partially why she was able to start really manipulating her settings and her configurations, is because Josh also bought this little device to plug into his phone so he could override system parameters and all of that stuff that are in the app. So he hacked the app, so then he could pretty much change any settings that he would ever want. Well, so what Iris decides to do is, for her intelligence, because there's an intelligence mark, there's eye color, your aggressiveness, so how aggressive you are towards human, they can't lie, and just many other things. So she ends up increasing her intelligence to 100%, being able to come up with a plan to get her out of this situation. And then as you fast forward some more, here comes the second biggest twist in the plot, which is, although this whole time we were thinking that Iris did that in self-defense, the whole reason why Iris even came up here to begin with is the fact that Josh and Kat schemed to put Iris in a position to kill the billionaire so they can rob him and, steal all his money and all that good stuff. But all of that clearly backfired. So some of the other people that were there at the party, so there's Eli and then there's Patrick. Eli and Patrick end up going, helping Kat and Josh try to go find Iris and then get her, and so they can pretty much deactivate her or pretty much terminate her completely. But through that, Eli ends up getting killed by Iris, and then roughly right around that same period of time, Patrick ends up finding out that he also is a companion robot. So Eli brought him, but Eli brought him with relatively honest intentions, nothing crazy, whereas the whole reason why Josh brought her is killing this billionaire and getting all his money. Once Eli dies, then Patrick pretty much is just sitting there, not moving, anything like that, and Josh ends up reprogramming Patrick. So then Patrick ends up responding only to Josh. Then he starts going after Iris, ends up catching Iris and everything. And basically from there is just a bunch of violence ensues. So from a police officer showing up and him getting killed, to Josh thinking that he's completely terminated Iris, and Iris basically booting right back up and killing both Josh and Kat. And the best part about it is Iris gets caught by Josh a few times leading up to the very end of the movie. But by the end of the movie, right before Iris ends up escaping again and ends up killing Josh, she gains full access and full autonomy to her body. So nothing that Josh does in his app or anything like that no longer affects her. He can't put her to sleep. He can't do nothing. And so she takes her, like I said, full autonomy and her full power and kills Josh and ends up getting up out of there. Overall, I think that this was a really great movie. It explores so many different themes regarding autonomy and control, and different ethical implications regarding AI and humans and their relationship, and how those two will work together. So I don't know, just overall, it was a really dope movie. I love the twist in the movie. Those were very enjoyable, and I think that they added a lot of value to the movie. Just for me, being somebody who loves movies like Barbarian, I see a lot of those same elements that I love in Barbarian in this movie. And I would even argue that this movie is funnier than a movie like Ready or Not and some of those other movies that I listed. I just think it's just well executed, just a well done movie. If I had to give a rating for this movie, I would probably fall somewhere in that. I think I'd probably, I'm gonna give this movie that 8 out of 10. I think this movie does deserve an 8 out of 10. It's really that good to me. And it's not necessarily good in this is about to go win some type of award or, an Oscar or something like that. No, it's not like that. But in terms of, can I sit and watch this movie and enjoy it multiple times? It has plenty of rewatch value to me on a front like that. And then in terms of recommending this movie to somebody, that's where I think that 8 out of 10 for sure is a very solid rating for this movie. And like I said, by the end of this year, it's probably still gonna rank very high amongst some of the rest of the movies that come out later this year. But that is all I got, Spooky Gang. Y'all let me know what you thought of the movie Companion, and if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it, because it's not a game. It's a really good movie. But yeah, y'all drop down below what you thought of this movie. 2025 is off to a pretty nice start with a movie like this, so I can only anticipate some of the bangers that we might get down the line. But y'all comment that down below. Y'all subscribe to the kid. We're on the road to 10K subs. Y'all know it don't stop. Until next time, Spooky Gang, y'all stay blessed and y'all stay spooky.